Hi, my name is Cindy Rang with the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington. You can find us at fabricpatch.net. We are out in my sewing studio today because we're going to talk about round robin quilts. So if you have a guild that you belong to, or you have a group of friends or buddies or family members, and you guys want to do something that's kind of a fun swap, this is one of those things that you can do that is just a lot of fun. And it's a fun way to get a quilt back that all of your friends or family members has had a part in. So what you want to do is you start with either a pieced center or a panel. I'm going to show you a couple of options in terms of both. Pick with something that you want to be the center of your quilt. It can even just be a single block, and then find a whole bunch of fabrics that you think go really well with that. You could put a bunch of fat quarters in there, but we do suggest that you have some yardage, because in order to do a border, somebody may need at least a yard and a half as it gets bigger. So once you've collected all of those fabrics, everything you think that they'll need, make sure you have a collection of lights, mediums, darks, large prints, a lot for them to be able to choose from. Put all of it together in a project pouch. The other thing is that you also want to put in a journal. Now, your journal can be something as simple as just a little notebook. It might be something kind of fancy that you think is kind of pretty, or mine was just something that looked like this. And so I started by saying a little something about the piece that I put in there. And so maybe it was something that I pieced, or it was very important to me, or something that somebody else pieced. I also talked about the colors that I do like and the colors that I don't like, and maybe the size that I'm hoping that it would end up being. So I would put my notes in there, and as it made its way around, everybody else would put a little note in here, and their note might accompany, there might be a drawing, there might be some other little Bible verse or message in there. So as everybody worked on the quilt, they talked about what they did and left a fun little sweet message to me, which makes it really, really special to have the journal. So then what happens is we decided on once a month. So every month you got somebody's package in the mail at the same time that you went ahead and mailed your package to the next person. When you get it, you get to open it up and look at it, see what somebody else has done, read the little journal notes and what somebody else might have been thinking. And then you have all month long to put one border on this piece. You have 1 month. So you do want to stay on top of it, not wait till the last minute and feel rushed. But you go ahead and put your border on it, put all of your leftover pieces, everything that you didn't use, everything that you cut up, any other little notes, put everything all back in that same pouch. And at the end of the month, when it comes time, you mail this on to the next person and you receive somebody else's in the mail. And this just continues. You might decide to do your round robin for 4 months, for 6 months, doesn't matter. What'll happen is sometimes they get big really, really fast, and sometimes they stay relatively small. It just sort of depends on what your interpretation is, what border you want to put in, how big they want it to be, and how long you do it. This continues until you decide to end, and then you have a great big reveal party. And at the reveal party is the very next time that you see your project pouch and your quilt that you started with. So I want to show you 3 of the ones that I have that have been on this little round robin journey and show you what they look like. So this one, the first I'm going to show you is this is the pouch that I got back. And so you can see that the fabric that they didn't use, everything is still in there. Some of the pieces are big, some of the pieces are little, but you really do want to put everything in there because you don't know what somebody's doing, if they're doing a little bit of applique, and they'll use every little bit. So throw everything back in there and you keep all of it together so that when I'm done, I get all of my stuff back along with my really, really special journal with all of your notes in it. So this particular one went with this quilt. And what I started with was, I'm just going to show you the center first. I had pieced this little quilt. It was going to be a big quilt, but I stopped at 4 blocks. So this is Janet Nesbitt from the Buggy Barn, from One Sister. This is their pattern. So I did 3 of the cats and 1 posy, and then I stopped with that. I really loved the technique. I loved the fabric. I just didn't make the rest of the blocks. So this was what I decided to pick for the center of my quilt. So you can see that the first person who got it, what she did was she put just a couple of simple borders, and then she did kind of a checkerboard on the top and a checkerboard on the bottom. The next person that got it did these cats, which took forever. Super fantastic. That's a whole lot of work to do all of these little cat heads, which is super cool. The next person did these really cool, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but they're mice. And so what this is, so they put on this border, and this, after I quilt this, and that's why we're in our long arm room, is because that's where these quilts happen to be. I need to find the time to finish this, but this is a mouse. And so what's supposed to happen is when I quilt it, I'm going to add the little tail on there and the ears. So there's all of the mice running around. The next person did another border, because typically you'll add a little spacer border in there, not just to space apart the pieced borders, but also to get it to the size that you want so that your math works out. If you're not sure what I'm talking about with that, we do have a border video that talks about basic math with your pieced blocks. So the next one did this really cool pinwheel block. And then the last border is this really nice Seminole border. So there's this really neat pattern. And so this quilt came out fairly large, absolutely beautiful. And I absolutely love it because it was constructed by friends. And so I just need to get it quilted and find a special place in my house for it. I'm going to show you another one. This one started with just a panel. Shouldn't say just a panel. It's a really cool panel. I really liked it. I just never knew what to do with it. So I put in the panel and a bunch of fabric and just, had no thoughts. And so here's the panel, and you can see the first one, these tiny little, really cool little border that she did. Just did. The next one did a bigger border and these really nice little stars in the corner. The next one did half square triangles. And then the last one, what's kind of cool is she matched. So she did the same star as here. So she just made a larger star. So fantastic quilt, super fun. Also just needs to be quilted so that I can enjoy it in time for Christmas. All right, so I think I'm just going to stop there. I'm just going to show you 2 because it doesn't matter. You can look at them again and again and again. The idea is for you to find something that you want to start with, a bunch of fabrics to go with it. You really do want to make sure that there's enough fabric in the project pouch because you want to give whoever it is that has your package, they need to have enough to be able to choose from. Multiple colors, multiple textures, multiple values, so that they can do whatever speaks to them when it's their turn to work on your quilt. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Round robins, a fun thing to do with your guild, your friends, your family members.
Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.